happy Thursday. Like, happy July, because it's the first day of July. And let's just say, it was a week, baby. A week. Let me just start off with the first order of business. Bill Cosby was released. And I'm just like, huh? How the hell he's released? And he has admitted to assaulting and raping and drugging 70 women. How did we get that fucked up? Shantae, he's a black man and da-da-da-da-da. And of course, there's folks in the black community defending that. And I don't get into discussions about that because I have my opinions where I'm like, that motherfucker should still be in jail because that's my opinion. I was never really a big fan of Bill Cosby like that. I mean, I did like the Cosby Show, but I wasn't no super uber motherfucking fan of Bill Cosby's ass. I sure the fuck was not. But the fact is that he's released gives me pause. While there's other black men in jail serving a life sentence for little offenses like drug offenses. How does that get fucked up? I have no idea. But I will say this. Bill Cosby may be free now, but trust me, life already got him aging like dirt. But God's going to show him better than he knows it. And God will get that ass, as I said in my post. Some people say, how God's going to get him? God's going to get him. Because he knew he fucked up and he knew he was wrong. So, that's my take on it. So, yeah, Mr. Cosby, God's going to get your ass. But hey, y'all, how y'all doing? I had to do that first order of business. I'm really here to put a motherfucker in their place. Because they felt they had the need. It's a lot of motherfuckers I got to put in this place. So if you don't like this live ain't for you. And if you're friends of mine, if you don't like the words and the language, you think I'm shilling for people, this live ain't for you. That's what I'm saying. But oh yeah, Wagwan Queen Lion. And hey Kay, hey Lee, I'm sorry. But it seems like some people have been bold lately to like try to put black women in their place. I don't know what that fucking shit is about. But it's time to put people in their place. So, Ryan Grim felt like he had the motherfucking audacity to pretty much try to slander our very own Maya Contreras. As you know, Maya announced her run for Congress for the New York 12th Congressional District. That is Karen Maloney's seat. It's always good to have a challenger. I don't know if I live in a district, but I know I still vote in Harlem because I still active in my community in Harlem. So I still vote in Harlem. If I voted here, I would have voted for Maya. But even though I will still contribute to Maya. So, Ryan Grim had the motherfucking audacity to write this. Carolyn Maloney's new challenger at Maya Contreras is an interesting one. She's apparently not a fan of Raina, this Bernie Knight, this chaotic Bernie Knight. Long times past, somebody broke the K-Hive ceiling in Congress. She will be blocked for blocking people. She will be blocked for blocking people if she gets to Congress, so might want to rethink this. So I'm going to read Maya's tweets. I'm pretty sure they're not bad because Maya don't tweet crazy stuff. She's not a chaotic person on Twitter. Maya said, I'm going to ask a few questions. Why is Russia promoting Bernie Sanders? Why is legacy media not asking that question? Also, why is Russia promoting Bernie Sanders? I mean, where's the lie? A lot of the talking points about Bernie is Russia inspired. And, you know, the United States intelligence informed Senator Sanders that, you know, there's Russian influence around your campaign. He was briefed on it. Because Raina wrote this, Democratic elites will stop at nothing to prevent Bernie Sanders' nomination. This is just the beginning, which that's a lie. And why does the mainstream corporate media hate Bernie Sanders so much? First of all, they don't hate him. They actually regurgitate his colonized progressive talking points. So, what the hell is you talking about? She's always been a problematic one because she retweets a lot of conspiracy theories and a lot of Putin-inspired stuff. So, Maya is actually right on that. And then Maya wrote why she's running. I mean, that's her truth on why she's running. And then he basically tried to play her because somebody from the Bernie ilk said if Biden wins, she will be a perfect AG. The investigation she would launch against Trump and his administration will make the Nuremberg trials look like the People's Court. Why is Russia so scared of Kamala Harris, POTUS and VP? I already know the answer. Because she's formidable, which is true, and I hope Putin pays you all overtime. Reported and blocked. So I said to Mr. Grimm, I meant to say Ryan Grimm, Mr. Grimm, I ain't saying Mr. Grimm. Ryan Grimm is promoting that white progressive men, proving that white progressive men are misogynistic and prejudiced as hell. And you know what? I'm right. Ryan Grimm, the most atrocious, non-factor ass journalist, progressive journalist who was famously known for smearing Vice President Harris and President Joe Biden when they were candidates during the primaries. He's also the same asshole, the same motherfucker that promoted the Tara Reade story. That's where he got most of his claim to fame. Besides smearing the president and the current president and the vice president. Even though that shit about Tara Reade has been debunked several times, Ryan Grimm still promotes that Tara Reade shit. So let me just sum this up. And I'm going to say this candidly. Ryan Grimm, the same as motherfucker who got famous for promoting the Tara Reade rape story, which turned out to be not true. The same jackass that smeared then candidate Kamala Harris, then candidate Joe Biden, who now serves as our president and vice president, and slandered the whole entire Democratic electorate, including the establishment, which is the black voters. That's their key dog whistle term. Yeah, that same stupid ass motherfucking journalist who is now hosting the Hill TV's The Rising, which is probably Russia inspired. It's Russia inspired. Yeah, Ryan Grimm. The non-factor ass motherfucker who wants to be known. Well, guess what? You came for a black woman, an Afro-Latina at that. You came for one. So let me just say this to you. You, Ryan Grimm, you're a whole misogynist, you're a racist, and you're a bum. You will not amount to the greatness that you deserve to amount to because you keep coming for black women. You came for the vice president. Let's see. You came for Shontel Brown. You came for many other black elected official women. And now you're coming for women that's running for Congress. I don't know what your problem is, Ryan. I'm going to tell you this. Black women, all people have the right to run for Congress, whether you black, white, red, green, yellow, straight, gay, no matter what your preference is. Everybody has the right in this country to run for an office. That's what the United States stand for. So, as I said, Mr. Grimm, you can continue to host the Hill Rising because you probably won't be there that long neither. Because when they find out that you're not popular, they will take you off. Because you keep having the same bum-ass motherfuckers on there like Bree Greg and David Serrata and all that dirtbag left. And just continue to, you know, make something of your struggling journalistic career. Because that's all you're good for. That's all you're good for. So with that being said, just, I don't know, live your life. Stay out of politics. It's no worse for you. It's just his face. Because that's all you're good for. So, that was one person. I don't know if that was a good read, but listen, I have no words for the man because I don't really like the man. I think the man is a non-factor. But, you know, Jim Clyburn endorsed Shontel Brown this past week. That was another major news thing. And some people have a problem with that. So let me go to my feed. So Mr. Serrata has a problem with the number 3 black Democrat in office endorsing Shontel Brown, which is Nina Turner's opponent. So David Serrata says, news, Democratic is actually Democrat majority whip. Should have said that. Clyburn vacuumed in $1 million of campaign cash from Big Pharma, and then he and Big Pharma lobbyists immediately tried to crush Nina Turner's congressional bid the moment she dared to air a TV ad promoting Medicare for all. That's a lie. That's not true. It's not true. Because where did that come from? Where's your sources, David? Oh, your sources, Daily Poser, your company. How you use your own source without citing other sources? That's how I know you're lying. But according to these numbers from Open Secrets, I'm going to name the top 5 that received money from Big Pharma. Ranked number 1, Bernie Sanders of Vermont, $1,301,155. John Ossoff, $870,970. Elizabeth Warren, $763,645. Raphael Warnock, $761,702. And the Grim Reaper, Moscow Addison Mitchell McConnell, $554,653. But I want to stay stuck on the numbers of Senator Bernard Sanders of Vermont, or I should say from South Brooklyn, because he's from South Brooklyn. $1,301,155. So I said David needs to be careful on who he refers to as corrupt politician. Is David aware that his former boss took $1.3 million from Big Pharma last year? He's a sitting current senator. I don't know if he took it for his campaign, but he damn sure took it for his Senate. 1.3 million out of the Grim Reaper. He got like half more than the Grim Reaper in Congress, or more than half more. Elizabeth Warren is like not too far from that, over 700,000. But y'all call yourselves progressive. Y'all don't take money from corporate PACs. But God damn it, you took money from Big Pharma. And y'all accused Jim Clyburn taking money from Big Pharma. The last time I checked, he took $125,000 from Big Pharma 11 years ago. Not last year, 1.3 billion. I mean, million. That 1.3 million? See, this is my thing with David. David makes all these motherfucking accusations and make up all this fucking bullshit without citing any motherfucking sources but his website, The Daily Poser, which that shit, you know, is about to go down the drain very soon. Not getting no money at all. Not getting nothing. Nothing. No airplay, no nothing. David is struggling to keep afloat because he know eventually he will need assistance from the government because David is broke. David can't get a job because David is so goddamn divisive. He's the biggest internet troll next to Brianna Gray. And he's just an overall asshole, a misogynist, and a motherfucking racist. I had words of exchange with David before I put that list out. Because I called David out on his racism and bigotry. And he couldn't take the heat. He couldn't take it. So here's my message for David. The next time when you want to cite sources on people, make sure you have actual sources and not your internet website or journalistic website, whatever the fuck that shit is. Stop coming for black politicians because you have so much hatred and vitriol towards black politicians. I want to know what black people did to you. I just want to know. Last time I checked, we didn't do shit to your ass. We don't even know your motherfucking ass, okay? So you need to work on your content, work on that hairline, make sure that hairline is keeping up with your age, and stop your fucking bullshit. Because you're too old for that shit. You're almost 50 years old. Cut the shit. Seriously. Like, he's on that bullshit. You on that bullshit like you 21 and you fucking 45, 46 years old. And you got a wife and kids. What the fuck are you doing, man? Sound like a fucking crazy person. Like, seriously, you act way more immature than me. And I'm 35. No kids. You a whole ass grown man. A whole ass grown man out here. With your nonsense blue check. Why the fuck you got a blue check, motherfucker? Like, I don't understand. I really don't. I truly don't understand. Also, Miss Gray. This is about everybody. I already read Ryan Grim, but I'll read him again. So I would like for Mr. Grimm, as I said from before, Mr. Grimm, you could take your tacky ass journalism that you tried to spread lies about the sitting president, who was a candidate at the time, who thought it was okay for you to bring Tara Reid, which Tara Reid's a whole ass liar. As I said, he can go and do something with his lie, keep up with his nonsense ass journalism and with that, because nobody needs that fucking bullshit. But I gotta read Brianna Gray. Because, you know, even though this tweet is like 4 years old, but it's still prevalent. Because, as you know, the Supreme Court is upholding the voting rights, I believe, in Arizona. And honestly, I don't know why. Like, this is why H.R. 1 needs to be passed. And this is exactly why we should have voted for Hillary Clinton back in 2016. Excuse me, overwhelmingly. So we would have had a bigger majority in the freaking, what you call it, in the freaking courts. I know you motherfuckers didn't listen. So I said, let's remind everyone that Brianna Joy Gray openly said on Twitter that Hillary Clinton was wrong about the importance of the court. Just saying the rights of women, black and brown folks, as well as the LGBTQ plus community don't matter. And Hillary knew. So she said this dumb shit. At NPR Politics, you guys are 100% wrong. The importance of the SCOTUS in support of Hillary Clinton. And then she said, as a Bernie then Stein supporter, that's all I heard in a response to arguments re Hillary Clinton's many deficits. It was the Trump card. That don't make sense. And it wasn't the Trump card. See, this is the problem with the left. The left don't understand the importance of a 3-branch government. Like they get lost Like they're lost and they're misinformed, and they keep listening to these talking heads that is feeding them this misinformation. It seemed like the only one slightly on the left that actually got some sense, even though he get on my nerves too, is Elie Mystal. Because he actually talks about the importance of the court. Because he does. Talks about the importance of the court. And he talks about it a lot. Even though he be doing all that tiffin tantrum and all that bullshit, he actually makes sense when he talks about the court. And I give it to him on that. See, the left, the young left, and some of them are my age and younger, don't seem to understand the importance of having a judicial system that works for all. Not saying every Democrat is elected is perfect, but having someone that has a liberal mind or a center-left mind when it comes to voting rights, it matters, especially this time. Everything was at stake, honestly, in 2016. What happened was everybody got fed the information from Russia. Russia was the problem. And our elections were hacked. And I'm pretty sure Donald Trump was informed, and he did not care because he was getting help. And it was revealed this year, which I don't know why it took long, but he was getting help. But Hillary Clinton was right and black women was correct. And some other pundits that actually agree about the courts were at stake. When Scalia died, the courts were at stake. When the president couldn't put then Judge Merrick Garland on the court, you already knew what motherfucking time it was. But the young left didn't get it. They didn't care. Because they think the president is supposed to do everything. No, the president is the last resort. And even his power, he cannot override the judicial system because they put a check on the executive branch. People don't realize what the judicial branch is for. Is to put a check on the executive branch and even somewhat on the legislative branch. That's something called checks and balances. I hope I explained that right. Anything that goes wrong with the law, you know where it goes to? The courts. The courts. And for Bree to tweet that back in 2017, I'm pretty sure she is like tossing and turning in her bed. Because, hey, Enrique, it's no way in motherfucking hell that you don't think the courts are important. The SCOTUS is important. The SCOTUS decides what is settled law and just what is part of the Constitution. Even though I have some, beef with the Constitution because it wasn't written for a person like me. But I'm just saying is they decide what's law. So to have a Supreme Court justice that is either to the left or either somewhat center left, because you always need a different ideology. That's what makes the world goes round, to have philosophical debates, is pretty good if you have a Democrat majority. If we expand the courts, which is a commission to expand the courts because the president has a commission to study it, which eventually that might get expanded to 11 or 12 justices, 3 more justices, that'll be fine. Do it now while you have it. Right? But of course the Senate Judiciary Committee has to have, philosophical debates on that. And you got originally like one knucklehead who seems to not get on board. Even though Kristen Sinema is a mess, but all signs does point back to Joseph Manchin III because he's just stuck in his ways. At least with Sinema, you can have a talk with Sinema and like, girl, look. But Joseph Manchin III, like, you gotta beat his ass. But getting back to Bree's baseless and shitty ass tweet, because that was shitty. The president has power, but doesn't have the power to do exactly everything. They are checked by the judicial branch and even by the legislative branch. They can write executive orders, but doesn't mean it lasts forever because they have a term limit. For most, 8 years. That's why it's important to have a healthy judicial system that works for the American people. And 70% of this country leans left. Just not extreme leftists, but they lean left. On key issues like education, Medicare. The list goes on and on and on. And voting rights, human rights. And you need a judicial system that is going to grant people those rights, that's going to make things settle law. So my news to Bree, I think you should return back to law, practicing law. Don't get involved in politics. It's not your thing. You have tried, and it's epic fail. Your podcast is declining more listeners, going nowhere, no time soon, and you might have to cancel your show by the end of the summer. I'm being nice giving you to the end of the summer because your show ain't shit. So, Bree, my advice to you is put that resume on Indeed because I'm pretty sure you can match for so many jobs. You're a smart girl. You can do it. But, yeah, her. I have to read. And, let's see who else, because people really tried me this week. Seriously. Oh, the news. Meghan McCain. I keep forgetting. Meghan McCain is leaving The View. She's leaving The View at the end of this month, which is good. You know, Christmas came earlier. I knew, like, towards the end of this year she was going to leave. I didn't know the announcement was going to be this soon. But I knew she was going to leave because, one, she left New York City. Thank God. Also, she had a baby. And she would have to come back here, you know, around August or September. But either way, I'm glad, you know, she's not coming back because she probably didn't want to come back. I mean, who wants somebody back that did not contribute anything for the last 4 years but divisiveness, hate, and dubious ass talking points coming from your Federalist husband, Mr. Meghan McCain, no neck ass Ben, who can't even put two sentences together? Your whole career is based on being John McCain's daughter, and you remind us all the time that you are John McCain's daughter. If you're John McCain's daughter, why are you so damn hateful to our first female vice president? A woman of Jamaican and Southeast Asian descent. Why? Why? You don't know? Well, I'm going to tell you this. She's smarter than you. Let's see. She's fit. And it's no shade. And let's see. She has a long-ass career as being a public official. She was a district attorney for San Francisco. She was an AG. She was a senator and now vice president. She built her career fighting for the little people that look like me. Unlike you, Meghan, your whole career, like I said, is based on your father, and you worked for your father, and you didn't work that long for your father because two of the campaign officials that you don't like towards this day told your dad that to not have you in his campaign because you're a hot mess. But overall, I will say this to Meghan. You had a 4-year run, pretty much contributing nothing, but stupid ass talking points and stupid opinions that make no motherfucking sense. Let's see, you were divisive as hell. You was rude as hell. You got checked along the way by many guests, which was enjoyable to watch. And I'm pretty sure you didn't wear a girdle because you needed to wear a girdle. And you're just a mess. So, to Meghan, you know, good luck with your future endeavors. I hope Fox News or Newsmax or own, what have you. And tough break, sis. Live your life. Live your life. Make sure you tell your husband to not wear those tight ass shirts again without wearing an undershirt. Because his ass should have wore a goddamn undershirt when he wore that plaid button up shirt like he had a hot bod. No. Yeah, I had to, do that for Megan. Because, she's just a mess. She's just a mess. Yeah. So, Nina Turner. That's what I want to get to. It's the last person, I promise. Mitch McConnell did away with the filibuster to let Trump and his party stack the Supreme Court with judges bent on undermining democracy. We're facing the biggest attack on voting rights since Reconstruction. It is time to get rid of the filibuster and pass H.R. 1 and H.R. 4 ASAP. Here's what I said. If you and other burners didn't vote for Jill Stein, we wouldn't have been in this predicament. And you know what? We wouldn't. Nina Turner, Mrs. Nina Turner, former Ohio State Senator, former candidate for Ohio State Secretary, who was then a supporter of Hillary, turned left when she didn't get the national support from Hillary Clinton. So she went on the Bernie train to be famous. Openly said she wasn't voting for Hillary once Hillary became the Democratic nominee back in 2016, and said she was going to vote for Jill Stein. And openly said it. She supports no one. Took pictures with Jill Stein and was willing to be her vice president. Not knowing that Jill Stein was a whole entire Russian operative. I mean, overall, like, she sat with, Michael Flynn's crazy ass, who was then a national security advisor for 24 days. And benefited from the Russian collusion of our 2016 campaign. But in light of all of that, Nina Turner is a betrayer. She is the Benedict Arnold of the Democratic Party. Because she's not a real Democrat. She has shitted on the Democratic Party for 5 years, talking about the Democrat Party was worth fighting for. If it was worth fighting for, you would have fucking voted for Hillary and fucking voted for Joe Biden. And you didn't. You didn't. And now you want people's support because you're running for Congress in the Ohio 11th Congressional District, Marsha Fudge's old seat. Like, motherfuckers really gonna get behind you? And keep in mind, both Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden did great in that district. You know who did? Bernard Sanders of South Brooklyn. He didn't do it. And you think regurgitating his talking points and try to distance yourself from him, you think people really going to come around you and pull their hands together and let's pray for you, let us break bread together on our knees? Nah, sis. Nah. But I would like to say this to Nina, and I hope you take this lightly. I'm not sure if you're going to win, but I would like to say this to you. All that talking smack about the Democratic Party and talking about the establishment and talking about the voters who just don't vote for their interests and just vote because of the establishment candidate, it's going to come back to you. It's already coming back to you already. I mean, the number 3 Democrat, the highest ranking black man in Congress, endorsed your opponent. The former presidential candidate in 2016, former Secretary of State, and former First Lady endorsed your opponent. And I'm pretty sure many others will come out to endorse your former because all you did was talk shit about the Democratic Party. And you're associated with Bernie Sanders and Cenk Uygur. And associated with Mr. Bestiality. It's not a good look. And black people ain't going for it. So until then, tough break, sis. Because you're going to need all that prayer. You're going to need all that support. We read y'all comments and I'm going to log off. The disrespect of Jim Clyburn, no, it will not be motherfucking tolerated. And I wish a bitch would keep disrespecting Jim Clyburn. Because if it wasn't for him, most black people in Congress wouldn't have, you know, all this, get away with all the shit that they get away with. And to all the leftists out there, you know, the clear ones and their ashy allies, to all of those leftists who keep coming for Jim Clyburn, I suggest you don't do that. Because, trust me, you will reap what you sow. If you try to run for Congress, you will reap what you sow. Because black people, we don't go for that. You're not going to disrespect the elders. That's what you're not going to do. Let's see. I'm sorry, but I despise UNT and any other associate. They are just obstructionists. Absolutely, Enrique. And he said she should have voted for Hillary, ma'am. And yeah, Megan's husband is no Doug. Doug is much older than him, and Doug looks great for his age. And Doug's children are beautiful. Let's see. Cute hubby. Yeah, she is jealous. Yeah. So I think I said what I said. And Marsha Fudge's mom did endorse Shontel Brown. And I think Yvette, I don't know Yvette Nicole Brown did, but she had an Instagram conversation with her too. So that shit was dope. But yeah, I mean, it was one hell of a week. I mean, oh yeah, and I had Whoopi trending, y'all. I got Whoopi trending. That's like, how many times I got people, Hillary and Whoopi? I must be lit. I'm lit. To have Whoopi and Hillary trending within a 2-month span of a video that I shared. And of course, people got the content of the video wrong. It was about pretty much how the elders were the pillars of today's progressive movement. And of course, many leftists, including the ashy ones and the ones with, you know, cellulites in their legs and their booties, and the dirtbag leftist men, you know, they heard only Joe Biden ended apartheid. Now, everybody know that Joe Biden did not end apartheid. I even know that. But Joe Biden, then Senator Joe Biden, was one of the first senators to raise the issue that the United States at the time, the Reagan administration, ignored the issues in South Africa. They sided with the white South Africans. I mean, after all, Reagan was racist. And George Shultz, I think he was the Secretary of State at the time, because I think he died like recently, not too long ago. He didn't have no empathy, none. And there's a video. It's on my timeline. You can look at it because I shared that video. And then Senator Joe Biden, who was like 46 at the time or 45 at the time, pretty much was in Secretary Schwartz's ass. I was just like, see, I love this Joe Biden. Even though I love him today because, like, he don't be giving a fuck. But he got into that secretary's ass and got into his ass good. So he did not end apartheid. But he did raise the issue to the Reagan administration because they ain't do shit. And I believe he got a bill to to pass legislation, pass legislation to stop the corporate money from Africa. I mean, South Africa. I was a baby, 3 months old, around the time where he spoke to George Floyd. I was 3 months. I was born in April of 1986, April 21st. So it was just like, I was a baby in July. Oh, I was a baby. I was a cute baby, too. But, yeah, so instead of criticizing the video that I shared, what Cenk, Elias, Jordan, and many of those stupid motherfuckers, what they should have done is did they research on Joe Biden and apartheid. Google is free. How many times like people got to say this to them? Google is free. Google is free. You can Google Joe Biden apartheid, and will show is his exchange with the Secretary of State during the Reagan administration, the second term of the Reagan administration. So until then, I would like for these progressive men and some of their female counterparts and their ashy counterparts to stay out of my motherfucking mentions. Stop clocking my posts every time when I post something about somebody saying something that's prolific that had nothing to do with somebody else's name. And just go somewhere and fix your life. Stop checking for what's going on with me and my you know what. Because it seemed like y'all always up in my motherfucking mentions for I don't know why. I don't have a large following. I have almost 11,000 followers. You motherfuckers have like what, over 100,000 followers, and y'all clocking my page? How low can y'all go? Just straight up bums. And then your bot army is just even more just stupid. I mean, y'all some dumb motherfuckers, like for real. For real, for real, for real. But I am going to read one or more of your comments. Also, we can have more Instagram lives with your friends or peoples. That live. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Kenny is awesome. Kenny and Dr. C, they're awesome. The only time they troll me is when I comment on your stuff. Of course. They obsess. Lee, they obsessed. I love Joe Biden, the youngest senator. Yeah, he was the youngest senator back in 1972 and the oldest president today. And looks good for 78 years old. Incredible. And still dressed well. They said, I'm ashamed of this country. That was big. Yeah. Ronald Reagan was a piece of shit. Sis, you are, yeah, I need a tagline. I do. And yes, thank you, Queen. Thank you, Lee. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Forensic accounting about the... Oh, yeah. Donald Trump about to go to jail. I mean, well, they already got, what's his name? Eisenberg. Trust me, it ain't done over. Listen, New Yorkers already said that Donald Trump was a troublemaker, and he will forever be one. And I won't be surprised that he'll try to harm himself to not go to jail. He look like he will do something to himself to not go to jail. Like try to commit suicide. Because he's a bum. He's a bum. But anyhow, I'm off this. Got a long day tomorrow. Take care. Deuces. Or how Martin said, peace.